tell me your name.
Roger.
Roger, how old are you?
I'm 55.
And tell me where we at right now.
In life or?
What city are we in?
Oh, Desert Hot Springs. Desperate Hot Springs.
That's the name for it.
Yeah.
And so how long have you been out here?
It's probably going on the 3rd or 4th month right now. I'm new, yeah.
Okay, all right. What brought you out this way?
Oh, I live at a house up here in Desert Hot Springs, and I was taken advantage of by a manager, and I was working with him and doing really difficult jobs with him, like block walls and stuff that, you go under concrete slabs, and he basically suckered me and said, all right, I'm done with this. I'm going to give you a 3-day notice. And there's a lot of details in that, obviously, but yeah, it's hard on the streets. See, I need to sue him. I already went to him and his girlfriend jumped me and beat me up. And even though he's 75 or more and she's pretty strong, I didn't fight back, because who would go to jail? It's like I even told the police officer, who would go to jail if I did that? I said, what would you do, officer? And he's like, I would have defended myself. I'm like, really? Who would have been taken away? And if you were an officer, you'd be safe, but if it was me and I lifted my hands on them, no. So I told the cop, and I went to the hospital and got paperwork said I was assaulted. When I called numerous times to the police station, started put in a report, talked to the police officer, and he gave me the options, 3 options, since I had the report and pictures, everything. He says, well, I could either arrest him, or you can go to court and either have a document of theft, because they suckered me into all my stuff in my house. He said, don't worry, Roger, you can come pick up your stuff anytime. It's one thing you're gonna get back is all your stuff. So about 3-4 days later, I come with my call him with the truck, and he's like, rightfully this stuff is mine now. And so he says, come pick up your stuff. So he's just throwing whatever he doesn't want of my stuff in the driveway. He kept all my furniture, bed, all my belongings for 10, 15 years I've had. And so being on the street's hard to sue somebody.
Yeah.
So I have to, because I have the option. And literally, he hit me in the eye. I had a black eye. A 75. I took it. And he was choking me on the back of and his girlfriend was on me. They were like 2 little chihuahuas. Bah, 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 and backed me up into the U-Haul. And I was like, this is choking me. You want to die? He goes, I want to kill you. He's well known around here, and I cannot mention his name. I could probably get in trouble, huh? I mean, he owns a lot, really? So this could stir up something, though. Yeah, he owns the local bar in town.
Okay.
He's a little scumbag, and he knew I'm getting an inheritance. We proved it to him, but I don't think I ever had a chance there, ever. You see, I got a job with somebody that referred me, and he loved me, going up like 20, 30, 40 feet up in the air, taping off to be spray painted up mansions that are like $1 million houses. This guy fired the guy that introduced me to him, and then it's like, okay, now he's calling me a foreman, wants me to work for him, but won't send me home with a penny. It's like, okay, I have 11 hours down. I spent 11 hours. He said $1,000 a week, but he asked for an advance. The dude fired me. And I called up and said, I'll never ask for an advance again. I apologize, Give me another chance to go there. I work. He's like very happy with it. He goes, hey, days like this, everything will be good. Introduced me to family, and everything's great. Introduced me to everyone, because he's well known, this other guy. And he's like, okay, I'm going to put you in a camper, and so I want you closer to where all the work is on the lake in Redlands. So he goes, go check it out, go get your girl, I told him I'm trying to, impress a gal or whatever that I'm really getting along with. And so I get up there and he says, go in, you know, you can go all the way to the back and go in, take a shower, kick back. There's TVs there and water, electricity. And if you wanted to stay there overnight or whatever and go fishing, pay $8, you can just stay there and kick back. So I go there and I go to the back and there's security in the front. They wouldn't even let us in. He didn't tell us about that. My fault was I forgot to have the money. I didn't know I was almost there to the destination where the retreat was, and so I put $10 more in just to make sure, because I had someone in the car, didn't want to run out of gas on the freeway. So then the $8, he's like, you don't have $8? I said, man, I just put it in the gas. It's $29 one way. You know, and so he said, oh man, you don't listen. I said, just pay that, you know, right away. And I said, man, I thought you said I can go in and take a shower and electricity's there, and if I wanted to stay longer, like overnight, you know, fishing, that I would pay, you know, the $8. And so I went and I drove off and said, you know, I drove off and there was one lane, it wasn't being used anymore, and I parked there. I shouldn't have parked there. I should not have parked there because it was closed for a reason. So I get a hold of him, and he calls the park up and he's like, Roger, blah, 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 what's happening? You know, and he's like, you know, he's trying to fix it, but not really. And then the police show up and, man, and I just I took a shot of alcohol, and he said, I smell alcohol, and he's like, I'm gonna take your truck and you to jail unless you have someone coming out and tow it. So I called my boss up, he's like, didn't even care, like, yeah, you couldn't even do this, you don't follow directions. And my girl's like, Roger, I'm gonna leave. So he hears this and just lets it happen, lets her leave. And I go, well, can I get the money you owe me for that one first day that you should have already been paid? And you give us a day off the next day. So he knows what he's doing to take advantage of people. So my friend walks off, he doesn't care. But then this morning he calls me and says, so you coming to work? I said, man, you fired me. You let my girl walk off. You didn't even want to help me at all. And, you know, and I said, all right, whatever. And he's, I'll bring 2 bodies with you, you know, 2 more people. And so, all right, no problem. So, and then it's like, what? Okay, I have to borrow money for gas to get up there now. And I'm just like, I still don't have cigarettes on, nothing. And I'm like, he calls, I ignore it for a second, and then he calls again, and I answer it. And I said, you know what? I have to borrow money to get up there. I have no money. I'm broke. I have nothing. You just let me like sink yesterday in front of the police officers, and that one retreat. You could have saved. You could have made everything better. And he's like, all right, Roger. All right. I'll have a good day. Bye. And it's like, you know, he could have really did it. He's well known, and you know, I'm a hard worker. You know, I have a few accounts right now, and it's like, I'd work my ass off for this guy, no problem. You know, I cleared half his yard with, you know, I'm a landscaper, so I cleared half his yard for him. His wife got mad, and it wasn't all of it. And it's like, does he know how much I usually charge for this? And I'm giving it for half price. It's separate, you know, and it's separate from what we've talked about. And it's like the whole thing just doesn't seem right with him.
Sounds like they're kind of taking advantage of it.
Yeah. And then fired the last guy that drove out there with his car every day, and on the way home he had to bum money with me in the car to get us home. And it's like I couldn't get in advance to give him money. And it's like,
so like, where were you living before?
I live in my truck, that truck with the window open that I popped out this morning. I lost it. I was so aggravated and pissed off and everything. I had nothing after working that hard. And I'm dealing with this guy, and he's so far away. You know, I busted my window out with my hand. I was like, you know, I've been hitting the window for days. Like, I know I'm not gonna break it, but this time I just had.
You busted.
I had strength, a lot of strength, and I just.
But like before DHS, where were you?
Palm Springs.
And then before that?
I live up here. I lived up here for 18 years.
Oh, okay.
A house in Mission Lakes for 8 years.
And so how did you lose your house and everything?
He said, I'm going to give you a 3-day notice for not paying 1 month's rent. $1,200. That's the number that was on the 3-day notice.
When was that?
That was like 6 months ago. See, I have all the paperwork, and I'm suing his ass. He kept on. One day he'll tell you one thing, the next day it's totally different. Like I was supposed to, a block wall, that's a $10,000 job. I went down to 5 for it. I did the hardest things to crawl under it and put pylons underneath it and to straighten it and hold it up. And he came and he started sabotaging the wall. He started jacking it up and it broke in half. He did that so much, and then I'm supposed to now go underneath it, you know, with it wobbling like that. And I told him, why you can't level that out. The rain has to come off of it or it'll go down in the middle of it and erode all the dirt out of there. You'll have the same problem. He goes, oh, it'll settle in 6 months. So my thoughts were a long time ago was, watch, I'm going to do the hardest part, the life-threatening stuff underneath it, and he's going to let me go, and then he's going to have his girlfriend's son come up there. And usually things that I see like that come to pass. And so I drove up there, drove by, and there he is. There's a son working on just the block part, not the part where it was falling down, so you had to put pylons and 2x4s to hold it up. And I already did a roof for this guy. He wanted me to do another roof, my manager, and he kept putting it off. What's that? What it kept caught me up on everything. He goes, hey, I have a wall that fell at my house, and we can do that instead of the roof. I'm like, okay, whatever, it's money. So he lowballed me. And what he did was he gave me $1,000 when I require half up front. So then the other half, when I was getting through with it, and one other guy said, damn, you did 90% of it already, not 50%, because all you have to do now is the little wall in front. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So what that guy did was, instead of giving me the money, he put it toward rent. And there was another part of the wall that I could have done an estimate to. I would have been way ahead if he would have just kept his word. And his lawyer's like, oh, does he have a license to do this? And that didn't matter on anything else. And I've seen people, his work, he usually hires the homeless. When I wasn't homeless yet at the house, he'll have them come over and pay them like almost nothing. In the work they do, they just throw paint everywhere. So he usually has cheap labor, doesn't want to pay anyways. And you know, I would have made it. I would have been way ahead of rent. I have everything on paper, everything on text, everything. And I became homeless because two of my friends passed away, and we were working on the wall, and I said, hey, I'll be up there in a day or so, because, you know, 2 of my friends just died. And he's like, well, I'm tired of this shit, you know, I'm going to give you a 3-day, I have that on text, I'm going to give you a 3-day notice. I said, what? For that? My friend, you know, I'll be there, you know my work. And, no, he was just waiting for me to get done with a certain part of the wall, and then that was it. And that was it. You got 3-day notice for that, and $1,200. I borrowed $3,000 from my brother when months were going by, and my manager said, okay, give me this much money and you can stay. He didn't think I can get it. A guy that would have money like that, you know, why would you hit someone to impress somebody? I've never laid hands on anybody my whole life. And so I hear he does this to a lot of tenants that are in certain situations. I had a friend say, yeah, you did that to your neighbor when you moved out. That's why you had to give him extra time to move out, because he literally did something bad. So, yeah, I never got physical on him or anything, and I shouldn't be in this situation. I'm willing to work, because being in this weather, you're still in the elements, you might as well get your ass out. So that's what I was doing with that new boss of mine, big black man. He's well known. I thought, yeah, this is it. He's talking, you know, soul food, and we're gonna eat good, and you know, all the blessings that would come with it. But it seems like it's just all talk. You know, he's more willing to just let you go if you ask for your money that you've already earned. You know, and I'm stuck. He wouldn't let me in the retreat by making it okay. And so then I said, can I just get the rest of my money so I can drive home? You know, and he fired me on the phone, wouldn't help me with the police situation. And the cops, he's like, so once I had someone come out, and they would come out and tell me, you know, get my truck and me 45 minutes away. I have people like that. I work hard, they know it.
On a daily basis, what do you do to survive if you're not working? Are you just sitting out here?
No, I usually don't do this. Yeah, I try to find shade with my car. It's basically getting something to drink. Like right now, I'm parched. I mean, thank God for these lunches here. You know, the lunches they provide here, and the lunches at the senior center, and the food they serve in Palm Springs. That really helps people. Like, so much. We don't have to go get it, cook it, you know, hold it. It's all done for you, and it's just such a blessing. Such a blessing. Without those places, the people that are worse off than me, you know, that are really like have, you know, mental issues and stuff like that, they couldn't do half the things that I'm able to do. Even though I'm not. I think you know, my OCD and all that. I think I got a little more than that. If I make some really dumb decisions, I think maybe I am more disabled than I let on, or maybe the sun's getting to me, or because a lot of my decisions aren't fantastic. Like, all I had to do is bring a little money. Yeah, stuff I'm not remembering like everything, so I write everything down as notes, and some things I don't get down on the notes, and it's imperative that I do because it's really important. If I tell someone, if you want something done a certain way, you tell them exactly the way you want it, it'll get done that way. And I love to work. You get proud of yourself. You actually can get ahead in life, you know? But just to barely get by and struggle with that job, and then drive all the way up there just for that.
Where do you like go to the bathroom and stuff like that?
That is a good question, because, you know, in the morning when you have to go to the bathroom, the first thing, that was like the most priority. And thank God for parks. You know, like where Marilyn Monroe is in Palm Springs, the statue, there's a park right there that has bathrooms right there. And there's water right there. And that's my go-to place that I try to go to go to the bathroom in the morning. Otherwise, it's just it's torture. Because I have, you know, in an emergency, or I didn't want to come out because sometimes I'll sleep at a church parking lot. And I asked the police, is that illegal? And he said, no, I won't mess with you, but if the pastor didn't want you in there, we'd just kick you out. So I go to, a lot of those are my safe places, going into a church parking lot, crash out. And I talked to the pastor the other day, and he says he didn't mind at all. Just, you know, don't make a mess or anything like that. And I usually pick up after. And at one place where they feed us, I trim their palm trees for them. You know, as a thank you very much for letting us park here and eat and everything like that.
How about drugs? Do you have like any struggles with drugs?
Of course.
Any substance abuse?
Yeah, I smoke a lot of weed. And yeah, and I don't drink. Yeah, I'm doing all right, but yeah, there's issues. Yeah, but you know, I do use now, and the way that happened was
What are you using?
And I thought, you know, see, I was waiting for someone to come back, a girl that I really liked, and so I got this feeling of, it was a bad withdrawal feeling, like I was missing her or something like that. I thought that's what it was. I was like, it was the most horriblest feeling I've had ever in a long. So I prayed to God, please get rid of this feeling. Please get rid of this feeling. I cannot handle this. It's too much. And I had a girl come over, and she would leave her goodies up in my cabinet, and I never even cared for years. Didn't even care. And I was sober, didn't do nothing, and I couldn't get rid of this feeling. God wouldn't get rid of it. So what I did was I went up to the cabinet and broke out a pipe and started and smoked. That feeling went gone instantly. And so what I thought it was me being bummed out over someone that didn't come back. But that happened all the time with the same person, and I didn't ever feel like that. Then it hit me what it was. I was quitting my medications that I've been taking for 20 years because they're acting too strong. I didn't take them as much, and so all of a sudden I was down to barely taking my medications after 20 years. Muscle relaxers, tramadol, trazodone. That was a major withdrawal I was going through. I didn't know it was that. I would have went to the hospital and asked them, please. I thought it was something dumb, like a woman, but it didn't hit me till later on after. So it's like I shouldn't even be on that. I hate it. I know what it does, and it's doing it again. You know, I hate it, and I didn't recognize at that time, you know, what it was.
Yeah, it must be difficult to stay clean.
Now I just want to forget everything. I don't want any feelings anymore. I don't want to feel love or anything. I don't want to feel nothing. What I feel now is it's too much still, you know. I used to be a nice guy, and I ain't a nice guy no more. No more. And I guess that attracts some, you know, women. And I am not. It's just, you know, I'm almost done. You know, telling family, you know, I have to wait. I'm getting an inheritance. I'm going to tell the world that right now. That's not good. But
Where's your family?
I have to wait for my evil stepmom to die. Evil. She prevented me from seeing my dad on his deathbed because she has Alzheimer's and dementia. So all she can remember is when I was younger, a real piece of crap. She didn't remember all the dinners and Thanksgiving, and my dad just praising me for doing, you know, I had great company, lots of work, and he was just like ecstatic. My brother just sits in the background, just grrr, and he's my older brother. Right now he's not working. He has a Filipino wife that's just puts things in his head. And my brother, it doesn't even seem like it's my brother anymore. My brother was just a sweet guy. No matter what, he'd always be there. And he said things to where it wasn't my stepmom saying that she didn't. He didn't say it was my stepmom didn't want me up there. He was elaborating on it that my dad didn't want me up there, that I'm trouble and all that. And until my dad's brother said no, it wasn't anything like that. It was Sue and her dementia. She just didn't want you up there thinking that I'm gonna steal, even though they had me stay in the house. So my brother would elaborate off that and make it like it did happen. And I said to my brother Steve, that was because she didn't want me there, and she has Alzheimer's and could only remember when I was younger. Oh yeah, that's true. I fought to see. I wanted you there. I said, that's not fair. We should have him here. And I don't believe he even tried. I don't believe he tried. And my uncle's like, yeah, maybe you can get the Volkswagen bus, you know, that they have, instead of driving around in my expensive truck, and you know, it has a little kitchenette. And so my uncle calls and, oh, we sold that and the house. Oh, it's like, where's the money? All went in the trust. And then I find out after he says we can't get anything from the trust, and the lawyer said it, then he says, oh yeah, under extreme conditions, he's allowed to, and my stepmom's daughter are allowed to get 1% of whatever's going on. I don't know if it's the whole thing or 1% of what they sold. But he said for the past few months he's been getting money from that, and he goes, that doesn't change anything for you, Roger. And he has a house, he has a wife, and then he's like, I visited Dad so many times. I said, well, Steve, remember that truck you insisted I got for $10,000 with 180,000 miles on it, and that they took care of it? And you wouldn't look at nothing else. You know that truck? Well, remember the lawsuit I had against him? I couldn't go drive to LA. You know, what if it blew up? They would blame me. So it's like a raw deal all the way around. And it's like, you know what? I just want to go up to the mountains, build a house, my supplies, and just be by myself, or with, you know, a woman that I find maybe one day. My dad didn't find the right one until he was like 58. I hear that now. It's older till you really find the one. Because maybe you guys are so old, you guys just settle for each other. or you know.
So let me ask you,
Yeah.
if any of your family members is to see this video, what do you want them to know? What do you want to say to them?
I have nothing to say, man. They don't care. They really don't. They care for about a minute, and then, yeah, family's supposed to get your back no matter what. No matter what. And that's what my dad was saying. And when I was up there and we'd have Thanksgiving dinners, my brother sees this, he'll just laugh. Laugh and be cold-blooded about it and say what a horrible thing I have done before. Or, yeah. I just don't get it. I don't. And my stepmom, she doesn't even know, she doesn't remember. No one will ask her and say, hey, you know, Roger's going to be inheriting this, but he's on the streets. And my dad at the very end was helping me out with rent at the very end. And when he passed, nothing went to anyone right away. It was all in a trust. So if my uncle sees, I know he won't, he's in Israel. Does it go to Israel?
It's going to go on
YouTube.
the internet.
Oh.
So whoever goes on YouTube can see this.
A lot of people gonna see this shit. Well, I hope the repercussions of doing this aren't bad, because bad happens. My phone number, only good calls if you can. If you want to yell at me, that's, I know, whatever. 760 534 1664. That's 760-534-1664. Name is Roger, and I would prove myself working. I'm a landscaper, window cleaning service. Also, I do handyman services, and I guarantee my work. Thank you for everybody that's helped out through this whole situation, and thank you for the 1 a.m. p.m. in Palm Springs for the free ice and hot water, because that really gets you by.
Is it dangerous? Is it dangerous out here on the street?
Yes. Yes. People, the homeless steal from the homeless out here. You know that? When you have nothing, someone wants to steal the nothing you have left. You know? And it's a lot different out here than it was before. Like 20 years ago when I was homeless, I've been working all this time. It was a lot different. Now there's a lot of people out there and things going on in the streets and the corners and a lot of different stuff out there. And you gotta really watch yourself. And if you fall asleep out there and you have a wallet in your pocket, someone's gonna take it no matter what. Someone's gonna grab it. It's so cold-blooded out there. It's not right. And I try to, if I have food in my car and stuff and I see somebody and they say they're hungry or whatever, I'll feed them so quick. I used to go visit my friend that's homeless. He hardly eats. Here, make your peanut butter and jelly sandwich as much as you want, every time, you know?
Do you have a message for anybody out there struggling with addiction, on the verge of homelessness? Anything you want to say to them?
Try to get assistance way before. Don't try at the last second, it'll be too late. But there's people out there that'll help, and if you try early enough, you might be able to find a company or something to help you. And if you were ever on the streets, you remember everything. Don't just remember a couple of things of it. Try to remember the bad things, like in the morning, where you're gonna go to the bathroom, and food, and like the heat's excessive, so it is hell hot. This heat will kill you. And now that I'm older now, and my feet, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna make this round. You might not see me again. I'm hoping God would take me, but I won't do it myself. I don't want to burn in hell for eternity and take myself out. And I don't want to be stupid and do that, because it's the same way of just doing it yourself. But I don't know. I'm sure after this I'll have a lot of other things I'll remember to where it'd probably be better than this whole interview put together at once, because I think I kind of wanted to talk to somebody like you that could get the message out there, because there's not enough help out here for people. There's women out here that are they're walking around with the bottom of their shoe off, you know, and there's nothing out here. I mean, where's some of that money going for the homeless that people put in? There's like nothing out here, you know, to help or to shower, to clean up or to relieve, you know. I hope I make it in Jesus' name, and that's the only way I'm going to be able to. It's in His name.
And so, for the people that see this and might want to help you with a donation, a job, a place to stay, anything, do you have any contact information, email,
Yes.
anything?
My phone number.
It's
I have
probably
an- I have
better
an
to give
email.
like an email, because if you
Okay.
give your phone number, you'll get too many calls.
Oh, that'd be cool. I don't care what kind of call I get. Emails ROWERGER106@gmail.com, and I'm a hard worker. I mean, I work my butt off, and details are everything, and I have tools for every job, and I prove myself, and I don't like the situation I'm in. I mean, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't have a stepmom the bad stepmom. A lot of people have one of those. And I'd like to give my phone number if it's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you push pause for a second?